Hey yo guys, welcome to another video. I know this video is like 3 weeks late, but it's better to get it out in March than October. So, as I bet none of you will know because you guys don't care, on March 2nd, about 3.5 weeks ago, almost 4 now, was my 5-year anniversary of J Venture Studios. And I was thinking, well, I don't even have a channel anymore. What can I even do to celebrate the anniversary? Minecraft ain't working, so I can't do that. I was gonna make a J Venture's Best Moments video, but I needed Minecraft for a specific scene until I realized something I can do, which will combine several of my channels. And it kind of happened already in some of my first videos. So, as maybe one of you may know, when I first started doing YouTube, like 5.5 years ago now, I mainly did either videos recording me and my brother playing games, or playing with toys in my basement with Alan, or Solon, I guess, is his YouTube name now. And back then, it wasn't just random toys, but it was like an actual series we did. Simple name, just called the Toy Series. But one episode, so some of my stuffed animals was in it, and it was basically this fair episode. And as you may know, another one of my series that I had a couple years ago was Animal Kingdom, where the main characters are really just animals that I use as my stuffed animals. So they technically crossed over a couple years ago before Animal Kingdom even existed. So I figured for this video, I would do what would happen if like the actual canon animals from Animal Kingdom was in the Fallen Kingdom. I mean, not the Fallen Kingdom, was in uh Toy Series, and we literally placed the Toy Series animals out for the Animal Kingdom versions. I'd taken another thing from my King of the Kaiju channel and do power scaling to see who in the fight were to fight, and then round two would just be like the actual story of what would happen. But yeah, I think that's pretty good, and that's what we're going to do today. But first, a couple rules. The short films I made like a year or two ago, The Polar Express versus Skittles and Salvage, those short films isn't canon to Animal Kingdom, but the feats that was in the short films, they could actually do. You see why that's important later. By the way, first, just get to Toy Series, because it's a lot easier to scale that. And with Toy Series, of course, 99% of the feats come from the main villain, the Evil Hand, which has a lot of stuff actually. Going back to his main appearance, I mean, this is his first appearance back in episode 3. He had a couple stuff. First of all, he can very casually tank missiles easily. And one thing that's to actually say that should be kind of self-explanatory, but not really. He doing anything the Evil Hand has ever done in any of the episodes was casual. Anytime an oddball or Paw Patrol member hit him, anytime it got hit, he literally took no damage. If it sounded like it took damage, that's because he's pretending. He's a very sadistic entity that is like to toys with his enemies. It's like the reason why he didn't just kill the Autobots and Decepticons or had the chance is because like he just wants to see them suffer. We know he can kill them because in the time skip between like episode 10 and 11, literally half of them died. Now, the real reason half of them died is because in the 3 years since those episodes, 4 years I think it was actually, we just lost some of the toys and couldn't buy them because we're still kids. So we just like, oh, they died off camera, which is why we had that little flashback, which also showed part of the couch, aka their base being destroyed, because like in real life it was actually destroyed a couple years ago. Don't ask how, that was actually a funny story, but yeah. Basically, when he wanted to, he just killed half the cast. So he can at any point. He just fakes being hurt just to make me think I have a chance because he likes to see them suffer. So any feat that we're going to talk about multiply like 50-fold for his actual power. But at bare minimum, starting off, he can take missiles easily. And in the early episodes, there's actually more torpedoes. Basically, everything before like episode 11, Autobots is using torpedoes, except for the super ship that was missiles. The difference is torpedoes can fire at a quarter ton of TNT and missiles half a ton, so missiles are twice as powerful. But either way, that's building level energy. And for more impressive stuff, against the super ship that he was fighting, he got hit with 86 missiles in that fight, or about 43 tons of TNT, which is city block amounts of power. And then right after the super ship got destroyed, he got hit with an additional 36 missiles, I think, from the Autobots, even though that was actually torpedoes. So 36 torpedoes, the equivalent of 18 missiles, or 4.5 tons of TNT, which is about yards buildings amounts of power. Meaning in total, he took 47.5 tons of TNT in that episode, plus Romeo's missile earlier on. So I would say 48 tons, which means he casually took city block amounts of power. But it can go even further, because the super ship actually fired 109 missiles. And no, by the way, even though I'm the creator and I can do whatever I want, I'm not just making up some random number here. I actually counted each individual pew I did for the missiles, which took me like 10 minutes. Someone help me. But yeah, even though one got hit with 86, the super ship actually fired 109 missiles in episode 4. And that's relevant because the super ship can actually take its own fire that it can dish out. It didn't use all of its missiles either, so it has more. But every missile shot, it can just take that without that much damage. Or it can easily take 54.5 tons of TNT or city blocks amount of power pretty easily, and is even more powerful than that. And it got destroyed off camera from literally the evil hand ramming into it, obliterating it. And since it's made out of Lego, so you can visualize it easily, just create a similar thing out of those Doppel figures if you have any, just shatter it to the ground. It got torn into pieces. And in my verse, this applies for any one of my verses, right? That's a 10 times increase in power for one shot cap. And not just a normal one shot, it got obliterated. So times that by 10, that's over 500 tons of TNT, or the Evil Hand's multi-city block level. Pretty easy. Again, this is just casual stuff here. It can get even higher because the super ship can take its own arsenal. By the way, I'll just toss up some strength multipliers right here. This will apply to all my series, including Animal Kingdom, for a very long of a video. So just keep in mind that. So just taking these numbers now. So of all that, the super ship will be probably about 75% stronger than its own arsenal. And it has more arsenal than what he actually fired, so I'm just going to double it and say the Evil Hand's equal to almost 1.1 kilotons of power, casually again, or a small town level. This is pretty consistent because in the Devastation flashback, which I'm going to call it now, where he killed all the Autobots, he obliterated one segment uh, of their base, which actually took about 50 tons of TNT to do, or city blocks amount of power, just by whamming into it. Which again we saw was pretty casual. He was just being pissy and just tore it apart. So yeah, that's casual city block energy he could do there. And just for that stuff, he'll just get to small town level, but he can get much higher too by actually scaling him to the animals. So in episode like 5 or 6, I think it was, where the animals actually show up in the cave, it was. of one of the animals, the rainbow dolphin to be specific, got hit with a meteor. And now I know in the episode only said it will destroy everything in a 500-foot radius. And an actual 200-foot meteor, which is what it was, would destroy like several miles. But I was a kid, okay, I was stupid. But I will keep it and just say it will atomize everything in a 500-foot radius. And that's actually consistent with how powerful actual 200-foot meteors should be. If you don't know, an actual 200-foot meteor would generate 5 to 30 megatons of TNT. It's saying that just something with atomize a 500-foot radius would do like 28.4 megatons, 28.44. So yeah, it's about the same, meaning the dolphin got hit with city amounts of energy pretty easily. And of course, the evil hand's stronger, but we can gauge how much stronger he is. The snake is stronger than the dolphin by a yacht. The dog's stronger, and the snake is a whole yacht stronger than the dog. About twice as much. And the dog's stronger than the dolphin, which would be at least a 25% increase. So let's just say the snake is only 2.5 times stronger than the dolphin. Meaning the snake is hitting with about 71 megatons of force. Or the snake is city level. And then in episode 1 of the series, the Paw Patrol managed to actually defeat the snake. His actual name is Super Snake. I'm just calling him the Snake because that actually sounds better. But yeah, we managed to defeat him with pretty high difficulty. So I would say they're about 50% stronger based off of the previous stats. Or the Paw Patrol was hitting with 106 megatons of force. Not each one individually, but their entire group can generate that much power if they're all charged up. Then we have the Super Sip. Oh, what's actually coming back to the Paw Patrol. The Transformers is more powerful than the Paw Patrol, obviously. They can't like defeat them with no difficulty. The Paw Patrol will still injure them. But they're a pretty good amount stronger, so I'd say a 75% increase. That's 186 megatons. And then if you add the Paw Patrol and Autobot strength together, that means both of their forces will hit with nearly 300 megatons of force combined. Then we have the Super Sip, which right after the Evil Hand effortlessly beat up the Autobots and Paw Patrol combined with Romeo's special missile, which is more powerful than the average one. The Super Sip came and did better. Yes, obviously did not hurt the Evil Hand, but it was at least strong enough to make him feel the need to pretend to feel pain. The Super Sip is a bit stronger, which will increase it to a minimum of 360 megatons. So it's mountain level already. And of course, off camera, the Evil Hand just bodied it and one-shotted it, which means a 10 times increase or nearly 4 gigatons of force. And we can double this again because the Evil Hand actually split himself into two in the Twin Evil Hand. We'll cover this more in the ability section, but when he does this, he actually splits his power in half. So we can double this, making him equal to over 7.3 gigatons, or making him island level, all while holding back. Now this is about as high as you can get the Evil Hand. Now he is, with the whole lore, he is much, much more powerful than this. But just what came out, what I released so far, this is how high as we can get him. So he's in that Yo Island tier power while holding back, and full power, he'll of course be much more powerful than that. Now, I just have one other feat in being able to casually survive 100 times Earth's gravity, But that actually only gets to about wall levels of power, funnily enough. So, yeah. I guess if we talk about Crossverse, he survived as much gravity as Namek Saga Goku, but not scaling him to multi-solar based off that. The only other relevant thing to mention is, yes, of course, the Evil Hand, if attacked, the Autobots base now could still easily destroy it. But the Decepticons managed to invade the Autobots base in an episode that isn't posted on my channel, but actually Alan's channel. I have a link in the description if I can find it. And the Decepticons managed to barely invade after I had a whole, after all of them jumped the Autobots. But the Evil Hand was also there, and of course did much better than the Decepticons and could tear them apart easily. It really didn't take the situation that seriously. The only reason why he wanted to ally with the Decepticons so badly isn't because he's afraid of the Autobots, but because, well, there's also the Good Hand that's equal in power to himself. So if he's fighting against someone that's equal in power to himself, it'd be any advantage the other team has to just make them a win. So he needed the Decepticons' help just for that. But besides that, he can defeat Autobots and destroy their base easily. Which their base is a mountain, so that'll be mountain level right off the bat. But also, they have a pretty impressive artillery. In each pillar, which they have two, I mean, only one now because my couch broke again, but canonically they have two. They have, they have 1,500 missiles. Times that by two for two pillars, that's 3,000 missiles they have. Not torpedoes this time, but missiles. Each missile is 10 times more powerful than a normal missile. So that's like already 5 tons per missile times 3,000. Which I mean, just for missiles, they have 15 kilotons of power. They also have their uh, cannons that's 10 times stronger than a normal missile than their torpedoes before, and 10 times stronger than a normal missile, which would be 5 tons of TNT. That upgraded to be 20 times more powerful, so that's 100 tons per shot on multi-city block levels of power. And they have 5 of those, each cannon with at least 10 different rounds in it. So that's another 5 kilotons right there, meaning their whole base have at least 20 kilotons worth of power stored in it. And of course, the hand will take absolutely no damage. A no-show gap is the same as the one-shot, so times it by 10 again. The Evil Hand is casually 200 kilotons worth of force, so I use large town level. But of course, there's stuff getting him all the way up to island level too. So yeah. Now with speed. With speed is kind of simple. We have basically him casually being able to dodge 19 missiles at a time. Missile can travel up to Mach 5, so that's hypersonic speeds he can do. So just casual, we can say hypersonic plus 2. That's basically all we have at this moment. There's a possible higher end for light speed because the Autobots and Decepticons blast are lasers. But I don't remember if they actually dodge it or not in the episode because I don't have access to it. It's on my friend's channel. But if they do dodge it, Evil Hand's obviously faster, so that's a possible high end of light speed. But bare minimum hypersonic plus. Now for his abilities. For abilities, he has a yacht. The most obvious one is flight. He can very easily fly. He also has regeneration so far that he can regenerate from a single atom. He has resurrection, basically just revive people from the dead, which he did in the episode that was deleted because, Alan's sister's an idiot that deleted all the videos. He also has super speed and also reincarnation. Oh, meaning he can just reincarnate himself or other people. And he does this to someone in a future episode, but he can just reincarnate someone into a different body than the original one. He also has duplication, which he has used in the series, dividing himself into 2 people. He can do it up to 4 different people. He can make himself into 4 clones, but the downside is have to split his power equally into each clone. So the more clones he has, the weaker he is. And finally, gravity manipulation. Gravity manipulation so far deep, they could just instantly flip the planet upside down by just a flick of his fingers. And his final ability is to turn off all of his weaknesses, which he did do in episode 9. But he can only do that for a couple minutes, though, and like once per day. And with his weaknesses that he even has to turn off, it's basically just. I forgot. I'll in editing. I'll put all of his weaknesses in right now, but just know that none of his weaknesses is stuff that any of the animals could explore anyway, so we wouldn't need that power to begin with. But everything else is pretty useful. But of course, this isn't Animal Kingdom versus the Evil Hand. This is Animal Kingdom versus Toy Series. So what about the Autobots, Decepticons, and Pups? Well, you may think Mountain Level right off the bat, based off how we said they're Mountain Level, but that's no. That's their entire arsenal combined is Mountain Level. Like if they all use their full power in a self-destruct blast, they can destroy a mountain. Not each individual punch from one of them. So what we have now, they are not that far. We don't get that much. They never directly fight any of the animals, so we don't get that city level scaling. For BO was super sick because we did better than all of them combined. So for BO mountain level with that. So yeah. Well, all we can do is take their full power and like divide it by how many members there are of each faction. Which for the pups that works perfectly fine because even though there's a strength hierarchy, the pups are all around the same amount of strength. Like no matter who wins in a fight, if two pups are to fight at full power, it'll be a hard fight. But with the Autobots, like if Bumblebee tried to fight Optimus or Grimlock, he's going down in a single shot. Like you're not standing a chance. If RC tried to tussle with like flipping Megatron, how how good do you think that would work? RC's gonna die. So yeah, there's not much you can do. The only thing we can say is they can survive individual missiles, fair enough. And they can survive tackles, like very casual tackles from the Evil Hand. Like, for example, the Evil Hand, when shattering a part of their base, got to City Block level, and Heatwave, one of the weakest Autobots, survived that amount of force crushing on him. It didn't die, and in fact, like, I'm not sure if it was Heatwave or was like an Autobot relative to him. In fact, Heatwave got back up like 2 minutes later. Uh, Not even 2 minutes, like a minute later, perfectly fine. So you can say weak Autobots, like basically all the rescue bots, like Heatwave and Blaze, is in that city block tier power. By the way, we'll be we'll be including every single Autobot, including ones that's dead at Cup. So we have an arsenal of about like 17 Autobots and over 10 cons. So yeah, the weakest Transformers should easily be in that city block tier at East. But there is something we could do to get them higher. With the mid-tier bots like Bumblebee and Windblade, they're relative to like an average pup, like wall level. I mean, a pup with a supercharged as the supercharged pups, if not a bit stronger. Of course, the heavy tiers like Optimus and Grimlock is stronger by a yacht. But we can have something interesting with that. And first of all, going with the scaling, I just rewatched the episode uh where the dolphin got hit with a meteor trying to see if she got back up. She didn't, but she didn't die, and I just realized she actually got hit by a meteor 3 times. So everything I just said, multiply it by 3. The evil hand now equal to over 20 gigatons. So yeah, but Well, the point is, those three meteors did not kill Alyssa, right? Sorry, not Alyssa. The dolphin. Versus the super snake that can. Sorry for the bad name. See, it will get better. But the super snake can kill the dolphin pretty easily, right? And a single hit from a charge of Paw Patrol member, didn't kill him, was able to give the snake a large amount of pain, even break a couple of its bones. Yes, snakes have bones. I know a couple of people think they don't. I used to be one of them. Snakes have bones. But yeah, they're able to break his bones pretty easily. This is easy, not easier than the dolphin or dog could. I know the dog threatened to beat up the snake, but the snake would still win. So you could say that they could hit with city to mountain levels of force, which would put Autobots like Bumblebee, Windblade, Ratchet, Ironhide, and that city to mountain level tier. There's always Decepticons like Starscream would be mountain level 2, and Strax probably close to the city level. And moving on for top tiers like Optimus and stuff, they're just being mountain level or above due to one shot gaps. So yeah. And with speed, again, same as the Evil Hand, is slower from hypersonic to FTL. But now we get into the Animal Kingdom side, and guys, I had really a hard time scaling this. I know where Animal Kingdom scales. I made the entire series, then I remade the entire series. I know exactly what they scale by the end, except without spoiling, like season 1 of Race Off the Planet has impressive feats, except every episode of an impressive feat isn't posted. I mean, episode 5 has one, but cut off halfway through. I still wish I finished it, but sadly I didn't. So that sucks. But yeah. I guess I can talk about episode 1 feeds because episode 1 was posted. It was just deleted because my channel was deleted and I never got it back. So if you're one of the lucky ones that watched episode 1, yay. I can't remake it because my room was completely rearranged and I can't put it back to the way it was. So, yeah, it is gonna have to stay like that. But yeah, I guess other stuff we can talk about is the stuff that happened with short films. I know I just said it wasn't canon, but they can still do that in the actual show. And basically, the only stuff to talk about is Polar Express punching Zets, blowing them up, and him taking missiles. Yeah, I used to put him in that building to yards building tier, depending on how much he took. But he took quite a few. And also, one thing to say, characters like Salvage, the T-Rex, and Octo, even though they weren't in the actual series and only was in like videos like Octo meets animals and the short films, those are canon characters. Just all their appearances was not canon. Just to let you know. Originally, like the Octo meets animals was going to be canon until I actually made the story, and I was like, this cannot fit whatsoever. So made it non-canon. But yeah. But besides that, the only feature you can talk about is like from episode 1, and I guess episode 5 too, because the threat of that episode was a meteor sour. I know I said meteor and meteor sour a couple times. I switched the episode. It's a meteor, just one. Like I taught, like One Punch Man was. It was a meteor uh, approaching Earth. I was gonna destroy it. Uh, but it does get dealt with in that episode. But I can't exactly tell you how it got dealt with. But it's no it that makes the animals really powerful. But besides that, I guess you have Salvage that if you watch episode 1, He basically caused the destruction of the entire Animal Kingdom's homeworld. Just with one of his moves, he erupted every single volcano on the planet. Which, by the way, that is a large planetary feat. Just throwing that out there. But he's also the strongest character in the series so far. Everyone else that you see is way weaker than him. Like if Skittles and every other animal were to jump him, they're to use. It's actually proof because they actually did use and how to escape. So yeah. So no one else goes to that. But besides planetary feats, the only other thing I can think of for the animals is like them destroying like pillars, like the size of them were bigger, which would normally get to like building or city block. But if we highball and say pulverization for most of them, and vaporization for Skittles acid and salvage fire, then we can get small town for the weaker ones and Yardstown for Skittles and salvage. The only other stuff I can think of for power is Gleason and Rex being able to generate city level cyclones and uh Aissa and Skyward being able to do the same thing with thunderstorms. They never did it, but that's what they could do. If they actually did do that in episode 5. And the move that the two canines used to create Cyclone, you do amps for own physicals. So that'll upscale all the animals into that several hundred ton to megaton range pretty easily. So yeah, I guess with that scaling, you can easily get them to use multi-city block or town level. And the high end, they're all like city level. So yeah, that's about as high as they go. Again, without using like them crashing into the planet, which is generally planetary amounts of force, because technically that would just destroy Earth. As we say, it's a tougher Earth, but whatever. So yeah, that's about it. And with speed, they got nothing. They're supposed to have some impressive stuff, but one, all the episodes of impressive stuff got deleted or is never posted, or two, since Alan is very focused too much on comedy than actual serious stuff, which is what we should have did. So they have no speed feats, really. They have none. The best I could say right now is they can all dodge Aissa and Skyward's Lightning Blast, which would make them all Lightning timers. So yeah, they're much faster than that, but that's the best I can say for right now. And of course, Polar Express did dodge missiles in the short films and catch them midair. They even caught jets midair, even. So that used to upskill them from Mach 5 to 10, since out of all the 5 or 6 main animals, Polar Express is the slowest one of them. So they're all used to be above Mach 10, and even get to the point of lightning timers. So yeah. And I say main 6 because, of course, Salvage is the most powerful, but also the slowest one. So yeah. Now for their abilities. We have Salvage that can shoot fire blasts, Skittles with acid, and also has a poisonous bite since he's a snake. Aissa and Skyward with lightning abilities, Gleason and Rex with wind, and Polar Express is an earthbender basically. And we also have Octo, which in his happy side, he has basically this snow and ice. And in his angry side, he can control any storm, which again is also snow and ice, but it also includes rain storms and lightning storms. Not just lightning manipulation in general, like the other two, but this can create lightning storms really and is resistant to lightning. But he is the weakest one of them all, so he won't be that useful. So now that all the scaling is addressed, let's go over who would win. First of all, we just put them in reverse and just have them fight each other, then well, I think it's pretty obvious who's winning. The evil hands are one-shotting everybody. Even besides that, like, the Rainbow Dolphin in Toy Series has a feat that's equal to Aesa's Storms, and if not slightly stronger, and that is an ability that specifically amps for physical power. I know Skyward can do it too, and Skyward's the weakest one of the main 5, but it still amps her power to a point that I see would have surpassed Aesa anyway. So, yeah, it's not close. The Rainbow Dolphin also took the meteor 3 times in a row, meaning he's over 3 times stronger than any one of those ones individually. Even stronger than Polar Express, that's much stronger than the rest of his crew. The only one that will surpass her is like Salvage. It's Salvage Aeon is like 5 times stronger than Grayson, which is the second strongest normal member. So he would probably surpass the Rainbow Dolphin, but the dog is stronger than the dolphin, and the snake is much stronger than that. So, Toy Series Snake is much stronger than Skittles is, and arguably stronger than Salvage. Speed is a different story. Uh, they're both of just wall feats, like hypersonic, but you could argue both much faster, both are high ends. The snake is just gonna blitz them easily. So yeah, we don't even need to get into stuff like Optimus, Megatron, or God forbid the evil hand. A single flick is gonna destroy everybody. And even if you want to say they're stronger to the planetary metas, gravity manipulation, there's gotta no limit on that. Or a bunch of other stuff it can do. Like, how do they kill him? It can regenerate from a single atom. And even if they can vaporize him down to that point, he's faster than them. Not much he can do. I'll cut. I'll cover another round later if we took this planetary stuff seriously and use the super speed metas or meta they have. But yeah. But now that round one's easily done, Toy Series got this, Optimus will one-shot everybody. Let's get into the story. Now for the story, originally I was going to start off at episode 6, or the Secret Kingdom, because that's where the animals was, but I decided a better place was to start at episode 1, since the Super Snake is there, and of course I will be replacing the Super Snake and the dog with Grayson and Skittles. So, how are that changed? Well, episode 1 would basically not exist because Skittles doesn't attack people for no reason, has no reason to attack the animals, not for some BS reason like he's hungry. Actually, no, he'll probably attack them the first time because he's hungry, but after the animals show to be trouble, that they can like injure him, he'll be like, nah, I'm gonna go for some easier prey, like kill a herd of cows or something. There might even be more cows. They're 10 times bigger and they don't fight back. It is smarter. I know they're like the middle of a dune or desert, but who does go for different prey? So episode 1 basically will not happen. And based off that, another thing that won't happen is the mothership is not getting destroyed. No, half of episode 1 was recorded because I lost space. But yeah, the mothership will not get destroyed. Meaning the super ship non-existent basically. which actually cuts straight into episode 3 and 4 because episode 2 is just planning for a trip, which was episode 3 and 4. But yeah, the super sip, that not existing causes some interesting things. Like, for example, the super sip was an advanced sip they made. It was either the combination of every other sip they had in the past, and it has the memories of all of them. So the mothership, the escape pod, and for those that don't know, the reason Spaz changed it to season 4 during those episodes, because there's actually 3 seasons that wasn't recorded before this, but it did take place in that timeline, and there was like 10 different sips. And the mothership was the most powerful of them. So even if the super ship didn't exist, it wouldn't be nearly as powerful as it was now. But I guess it doesn't matter because it didn't actually hurt the evil hand. But it at least gave the Autobots like a bit of time to prepare, I guess. Not with the Paw Patrol, because ever think about it, episode 1's a Paw Patrol episode. Episode 2 and 3, episode 3 and 4 was Transformers. Episode 5 was maybe Paw Patrol again, before we cut back to Transformers. And every episode that had both of them was deleted by my friend's sister, so whatever. But yeah. But anyway, yeah. The super ship not existing, the evil hand had more opportunities to attack the Transformers, and we probably wouldn't have any chance to save the ones trapped in the pit, or make uh, a fortress, of what we call it, to stop the evil hand. But the evil hand just decided to just leave because he thought he quote unquote took enough damage to make them believe he escaped, even though he didn't take any damage. But without that, you could just argue several Transformers members who had just died. But even if you want to say everyone remained perfectly fine, then cutting to episode 5 and 6, episode 5 would be the exact same. But episode 6, The Secret Kingdom, would be a bit different. Of course, replacing all those animals with Animal Kingdom versions, nothing that different would have happened, except, uh, I don't know. I was going to say we might end up helping those creatures uh, fight like the evil hand. But those weren't the Transformers or the Paw Patrol, so they wouldn't even met the evil hand. So yeah, you can only say that they're a short way distance away from the fortress that the evil hand is tearing apart. So yeah. But let's just say they somehow met the Transformers. Would they help them? Probably not. They're only help if the evil hand actually like attacked. So yeah. But of course, the evil hand could attack them since he's evil. And really, if he saw them, he'd just see them as more toys to play with. So if he actually attacked them, of course, they would not stand a chance. He's Island Devil. And at best, right? Even say Skyward is slightly weaker than the Storm She creates. Skittles is about 10 times stronger. That'll get him to about mountain level or so. About 80% as strong as the Super Snake. While Skittles is Iron Devil. So yeah, the evil hand would just absolutely dominate Skittles, which is the strongest one. Even though Salvage isn't there, I'd say he's at a different part. If Salvage is to fight him, he's barely over 2 times stronger than Skittles. The same thing would happen. He'll just get one-shotted by the evil hand easily. Like, usually 1/4 of his power and one of his clones would still do the trick. Or 2 hits, dead. Or just hold back slightly, yes, dead. Nothing they could do can stop that. But what if instead they met for Transformers? The Autobots, of course, do not attack them, but the Decepticons probably would, because they take them as like slaves to help them deal with the evil hand. And that'll be a quite interesting story. First of all the fodder Decepticons, like the equivalent of the Vehicons, to get destroyed very easily. These guys are used to the city block to small town lanes. The Vehicons literally blow up from like 1 or 2 missile strikes. I guess you could argue that a single blast from an Autobot is more powerful than any missile on Earth. That's still not give them above city block level, and the small town level strikes from the animals would obliterate them. Or unironically, just like Grayson or something summoning a cyclone to be enough force to just blow them apart. No attacks, just the force of him summoning the cyclone to be more than enough. So yeah, even after highest ends, I'll go into like Yo tiers, like I don't know, Starscream or something. He would be at least in those town ranges. But if you try to fight anyone like Skittles, for example, he's at least yards town level breath, where you'll be able to like melt him. Even if you want to upscale him to like city level or so, then Skyward or Ayissa can just summon a Lightning Storm, fuse their power with the Lightning Storm, like for flipping Stomp from Dinosaur King, and just wham into Starscream. Doing a significant amount of damage. Of course, in terms of power, how Starscream is compared to like the Rainbow Dolphin, for example, the one from his series, not the one from Animal Kingdom, is a bit questionable. But I think I could just use the previous scaling saying from before. The dog is 25% stronger than the dolphin. Skittles hit over double that. I mean, not Skittles, the Super Snake is double that. Then we have a Paw Patrol that a single charged up Paw Patrol punch can break their bones. So, more than likely stronger than Skittles, arguably. Uh, and then we have Bumblebee, which if they were to hit Bumblebee in the face, they would send him flying. But so would Bumblebee. A Bumblebee will probably beat an individual pup. Now, 2 or 3 against him, he would use, but 1-on-1, he'll probably win. And Starscream is pretty relative to Bumblebee. I forgot if we had him a bit weaker or a bit stronger, but if they both fought, no matter who would win, it would be a hard fight, so yours should be equal to a pup. Meaning he'll be more than likely stronger than those 3 city level meteors. So, yeah. And each meteor alone is like 5% stronger than the Lightning Storm, which is stronger than any of the individual 5 animals, not including Skittles or Salvage, of course. So if you do that, even with a Ram charged up Lightning attack from Ayissa, even, yes, it will hurt Starscream by a good amount, but Starscream is still several times stronger than them and would survive that. But Skittles, on the other hand, his acid breath is able to, like, burn the skin of animals. And of course, I can't really show that because they're stuffed animals, but canonically, it's like burning their skin, causing them third-degree burns for every second he's firing with them. So that's at least that yards town level scaling is consistent, if not all the way up to city level. So we'll be able to burn Starscream's metal, not completely like blast a hole through him, but will cause burns and even start to melt him after a prolonged period of time. And there are 6 of them compared to like a couple Decepticons, but if we talk about before the massacre, there will be more Decepticons, and Salvage is not helping of the 6 animals in question, like, at all. Now, if Starscream were to fight Salvage, I do think Salvage is physically stronger, and would more than likely just rip Starscream apart. Each individual fireball would be enough to, like, rip off one of Starscream's limbs, pretty easily. And if Starscream were to fight him in a 1v1, he would just win after like a minute or two. But if they're to go like 2 Decepticons plus some Vehicons on each animal, I do think they could possibly win pretty easily. Meaning that they could possibly capture other animals, which means you won't see them again until the massacre, where the evil hand is tore through the Decepticons' base and is whipped and killed half of them. And then the animals probably would have escaped. But I would think that he would probably just kill some of the animals, like Octo, that I completely forgot about before. I don't see him surviving. Even this Lightning Amp form, which doubles his AP, I honestly think he would die pretty easily. Even with that nightmare personality he gets, he would just die. He's not surviving that. I do think Salvage is strong enough to like wiggle his way out, and Skittles is probably fast enough to survive that too. But the ones I really see dying is definitely Octo, as well as like maybe Skyward too. But besides that, I think I see everyone else surviving, meaning all the other good animals would probably just escape. And for the sake of story, we'll say they find the Autobots. The Autobots to see them, they're excited to attack because obviously Cybertronians, which attacked them before, which they'll probably just beat the Autobots because the Autobots immediately just came out of their own massacre from the Evil Hand that same day, with over half of them dying and the rest weakened. Like Optimus Prime is literally buried under like a mini mountain. Like he's out of commission for a bit. And then like the only ones that's really able to fight is like Grimlock and maybe Blaze if you woke up. But Blaze ain't doing anything, he's the weakest Autobot. Grimlock will be able to do a lot. He is stronger and likes a Megatron. So he's at least as strong as Salvage, if not stronger, and Salvage probably won't even be there. He'll probably just go in the opposite direction. Which we could make what if whoever Salvage is there, but Grimlock could just beat Salvage, that's it. But the other 6, I do think he's stronger than all of them individually, but they all teamed up, since I do think there'd be yes weakened than Grimlock would be. Then, I don't know, it's arguable. But I do think they would probably win. But the Autobots would probably talk some truth into them, and then they'll eventually figure out that, oh wait, these guys aren't evil. Unlike the other Cybertronians that captured us for weeks at least. And then they'll probably just team up with the Autobots because they have no other choice, and they'll be part of their guards as they rebuild their ship. And now we cut into episode 12, which is when the Decepticons attack with the Evil Hand after making an alliance, which is the latest episode that was released, so I won't go past this point. But will Salvage be there? Probably not. I do think that the Evil Hand, if he realizes the animals could talk, would track down Salvage, see his strength, and be like, join me or you die. But Salvage should hate that to his core, but he would reluctantly join him. So let's just say it's for Autobots plus for animals plus versus the Evil Hand, Decepticons, and Salvage. Which, in case you haven't watched that episode, the Decepticons invasion was in 3 different phases. Phase 1, enter the base, which is pretty easy. Phase 2, defeat all the Autobots inside and destroy their shields, or at least destroy the generators. So there's no defenses besides the weaponry. In Phase 3, also part of Phase 2 is having the strong Autobots like Optimus and Grimlock be taken care of by all the ground Decepticons by outside, while Astro Train and Starscream deal with inside. In Phase 3, after the generators are taken down and some Decepticons are probably defeated in the process, have an evil hand in his army take care of the rest. Where would Salvage fit in? Oh, he'll just be outside of Autobot's fortress, helping take care of Grimlock and Optimus. Grimlock and Optimus were stalemating against Shockwave and Megatron originally, with I think them winning. With Salvage there, I mean, no hope. With another like Grimlock or Optimus tier combatant, basically someone as strong as a Prime, fighting with them, like uh, they would just be able to just beat them. And this is funny too, because obviously with both of these series not completed, both Salvage and like Optimus would be way stronger by the end of their series. But even if you include their scaling from the very end, I do think they're both still on the same exact power they have now. So canonically, Salvage is like as strong as a Prime, and even if Grimlock and maybe Optimus is stronger, he'll at least be strong enough to hurt them pretty easily. Like he's at least a bit stronger than Shockwave, which was able to injure these two, though weaker. So with Salvage's help, they would defeat Optimus and Grimlock. And then the evil hand would come after the shield was inevitably taken down. But there is another option. With the Alliance, what I most likely see happening is all of the Autobots staying inside to deal with Starscream and Astro Train, while we send the animals out to deal with Salvage, Vids, Megatron, and Shockwave. Which, that's arguably a worse idea, because yes, they would be able to easily deal with Starscream and Astro Train now, because they bury one in the original continuity, and now with two of the strongest Autobots on their side, they would win. I mean, the Autobots would win, not the Decepticons. But on the outside, though, even though the shield wouldn't be down, the Decepticons would win much easier. Keep in mind, Skylar, Rex, Yissa, Grayson, and Skittles combined, not individually, but all of their strength combined into one singular being, is still a bit weaker than Salvage's. They all have a collective power level of like 420, where Salvage is 450. So, yeah. And even if they could win altogether, which most of the time they don't, in fact, even in episode 1, they didn't win while all jumping him. Skylar would have died 6 months ago by the evil hand, and they also have Megatron and Shockwave to back them up. Megatron showing just as strong is Salvage, and Shockwave showing reaching that level of power. So yeah, the animals to be defeated, or most likely the weakest one, which would be Rex, would just die. Polar Express will probably just create an Earth prison around them to resist them all damage, but eventually, if they won't hold up the entire time. So they'll be forced to send out Optimus and Grimlock anyway to protect them. But after seeing what how the Decepticons inside has been defeated, I do think the Evil Hand would just come early with his army to defeat Optimus and Grimlock. He'll probably just ram himself through the shield anyway to just destroy it in one go. He could have had the original timeline, but he didn't because he wanted to save it as a surprise attack to catch them off guard. Which he really could have showed all of them by himself if he wanted to. But he wanted to make sure they're too weak to be able to call upon his twin, the Good Hand, for backup. So yeah. But now he'll probably just ram inside and try to defeat everyone as quickly as possible before the good hand gets summoned. So yeah. Honestly, the events will probably play out the same as the original story. The Decepticons will still end up winning. It just might take a bit longer. And that's why I'll stop because I don't want to spoil the future series. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been like an hour. Did not intend for it to be that long. And I will see you next time. And also, there might be a part 2 to this where I actually show what will happen. Of course, not an episode by episode basis, obviously. But like, maybe like episode or movie of what if they got transported into this world. Anyway, if you want to see what happened if like the evil hand got teleported into Animal Kingdom's world, he would kill everyone. But anyway, bye.